Mm, you will.
Velocinistaco says. I'm still here waiting.
Refresh the
Velocinistaco
page.
says. Win the ball tier.
It should be working. Mm-hmm.
Velocinistaco says. Can't get it to load, could be my side to know. Velocinistaco says. Give it a minute.
Rip.
Velocinistaco says. Doesn't seem to be my side. Lihavel says.
No.
Yeah nah.
Oh dear. Well, the YouTube is working. For whatever it's worth.
Lihavel says. Yeah fucked it LMAO. Iambic Lam says.
Meow.
So it is. Jammers 4210 says. You.
I'm sorry. You gotta believe that I don't know what's going on. But yeah, I see on Twitch it's like, yeah, it's just loading
Jammers
of doom.
4210 says. XDD.
But I can only say that I am sorry.
Jammers 4210 says. Wait, I'll be back.
Okay. What should I do? Should I restart my computer or just go on without Twitch?
Jammers 4210 says. Jammers 4210 says. I mean restarting wouldn't hurt.
Yeah, fine. I shall be back once more.
Jammers 4210 says. I will be a
Alright, I do believe it might be working. At least a little tiny bit.
Botrix says. Botrix has correctly joined the channel.
Oh nice, thank you, Butchix.
Thelokinastaco says. Awoof. Thelokinastaco says. Ah. Thelokinastaco says. Hello.
Hello! The world was against me, but I, sir, persevered. One thing that doesn't want to
Thelokinastaco
work is
says.
audio capture.
You won.
Oh wait, that's why it wouldn't capture.
Iambic Lamb says. Potato is winner.
It still doesn't want to capture.
No way.
I have caught you, mijo. Now it's time to bring you home.
I don't want this anymore, Papa.
We have no choice.
Let them go. They can work. Make Viviro.
Truth or lies?
Truth.
They could be good workers. They could help rebuild paradise.
I know nothing else about this game, but like just the dynamic between these two is so interesting.
Never set foot on this fucking boat.
I'm gonna alright, to be more a bit like, if I had a kid, I would definitely do this, like, alright, we're gonna agree on something. You can answer something. I can tell you that a good lie or a
Catch.
less convenient truth. I feel like that's child abuse.
Castillo's son is trying to flee Yara, really driving home how much of a monster Castillo has become. Not even his
says.
children feel
Wait, do
safe.
what?
Diego is taken away and everyone on the boat is killed
says.
except
I don't
for one.
understand.
As your friend bleeds out in your arms, she tasks you with taking
I don't know if you see the
With her
game.
last words being,
Basically, the mafioso dad, as a kid, you want the truth or a lie? Truth is, we cannot allow these people to live.
well, no shit, dickhead. You're dead. I've been letting some of these clips play out, and it's for a reason, and you'll see why soon. So far, this story has drilled into your head that shit right now, to put into simple words, is fucked. From here, you join the resistance. The first few hours of the game are kind of treated like a tutorial segment, with you having to liberate a small island before moving on to the main game. You save people, you make new friends, you save the day, barely making it out alive, and end up losing a lot of the friends you made along the way. All of which is devastating to watch unfold. And then, after all the pain that I just showed you, after Danny experiences all of this firsthand, something changes. And it was at this moment that I knew I'd be making this video.
Do you want to kill Anton? See. You want to free Yara? Sure you do. But here's what Clara can't say, but you and I both know. You want this. You're a guerrilla. And for a guerrilla, the shit my pants rush of an ambush, the smell of sulfur burning your nostrils,
It's fun.
And now, at some point, I do want to sing a lot of Epic the Musical, but I am not sure when I will be deserving of it. Maybe when I finish this bit.
Thelokinastaco says. Sing it.
Thinking must be earned.
It's fun.
It's fun.
Watching
Watching people get slaughtered in the streets, watching their blood flow into the sewers, being the only survivor of a massacre, having your best friend die in your arms, having photos sent of your best friend's boyfriend's head caved in, and knowing that you are part of a resistance trying to stop slavery on a countrywide scale of half the land's population ruled over by a dictator is fun. Yeah, and you know what? If this was just one instance of the game fetishizing rebellion, I'd let it slide. But it's so much worse than that. You get your teeth ripped out and a cigar put out on your tongue while you scream and cry. And when you barely manage to escape, it's just shrugged off and considered like an achievement. Oh, we all get our fucking teeth ripped out. Haha, I did it myself. You're fighting in a resistance against a dictator, and one of the missions is holding a rap concert just to piss some big bads off. Like, are you fucking kidding me? This game just has no idea on what its tone is supposed to be. I understand that tone can fluctuate. However, when your tone undermines everything that you've been putting on display, it just doesn't work. Jesus Christ, sometimes I forget I'm playing a Far Cry game because all of this just reminds me of Borderlands. Fuck, they even did the name tag shit. Far Cry 6 is a game so scared to take itself seriously that it jeopardizes all the storytelling it puts forth for a little fun, completely forgetting that shooting people, sneaking around, blowing shit up, and watching characters get fleshed out is the fun. But instead of getting characters that expand on the bleak tone that the game puts forth, we get this.
Fuck you, Talia.
Oh, I thought you wanted to hide like a pussy-ass bitch.
You want to die before we get to America?
Oh, big man, palo. So a real man takes care of his chica by hiding her in a stank-ass swamp.
Fucking puta.
Coño.
Oh, that's just foreplay.
Blah. I prefer my mafia romance.
Let's talk
Alright?
about this.
Where you threaten to break up with me and I slit my own throat. And then you realize that you don't actually want me to die. Take me to a hospital. And basically gaslighting our way into marriage.
A perfect game.
XDDD.
However, one thing that I loved was how it laid out its progression.
The lock in a
map,
stack
you have
says,
3 big bads,
a little
Beetle,
different.
siblings, and enter the main
It's a
segment
little
of the
bit
game where
different.
you battle Joseph Seed. Each segment, while
It's this one is set in Russia, which is just an excuse to have like beautiful blonde-haired giant men. And then the main character is Russian Korean. He's still strong, but he's small.
The
lock in a stack says,
Far Cry 6
as
drops the
expected.
ball here, as the game's regions are still segmented off. However, the focal point of each region isn't really the bad guys like the map would tell you. The main focal point are the allies in said areas. The goal of Far Cry 6 is to travel Yara recruiting freedom fighters, with there being 5 factions in total. Liberty, your starting faction, and no, I won't be calling them their actual name because it sounds like I'm saying libtard, so their name is Liberty.
Libertad.
We have Liberty,
Libertad.
the Monteros, the Legends,
Oh, yeah.
La Morale, and
Libertad.
Maximus, each of
Which
which
is
can
just-
be summed
Dr.
up
Frederick
in
says,
one single
hello,
word,
just
the
dropping in to check on
stubborn,
progress and
the
wish you a
old,
good
the
stream.
young, and the
Hello,
Lock in a stack
Dr.
says,
Frederick.
Now,
I'm
this is
sorry
where
you
the
can't
whole
stay,
Vietnamese
but
deal
thank you
comes
for
into
popping
effect.
in.
See, a lot of the factions have some
Today I'm gonna be trying to
really
finish the
interesting
sketch.
characters. The only issue is
The hard
that
part is the
characters are so
hands.
fucking
I look like I wanna do
brain-dead
hands,
that
I
their actions
cannot do
end up
hands.
outshining the good writing that they are given. Look, let me give you an example. This is Paz, nickname Bicho. Bicho is a happy, wholesome little fella
lock in a
from
stack
Mexico
says,
who has come to
make
Yara
the
to
hands.
support the artistry of the Maximus by hosting a radio station. He is completely harmless, couldn't possibly hurt a fly, and has never killed anyone before. He is completely new to the idea of rebellion. Late into the game, his friend gets kidnapped and he blames Bembe, the human trafficker who has been using his dark antics to help the rebellion. Bicho has never shot a gun before, let alone killed someone. But the idea of him losing one of his friends has driven him out of his comfort zone. When he hears himself over the radio from the station that he hosts, he shoots the radio. A clever symbolic metaphor showing how Bicho has snapped from his happy exterior into someone who is willing to kill for his family. And us hearing his happy voice on the radio really helps us contrast how much of a change this is for his character. This is good writing and helps illustrate Bicho's turn to violence. Then out of nowhere, Bembe insults him, so he goes to kill himself. Wait, what?
What?
Let me remind you, no one has died. He isn't miserable because he lost a loved one. He's just sad because he can't find his friend. So Bicho
I was insulted, so I'm going to kill myself. Now you've got it all wrong.
Let me give you another example. This is Yelena. Yelena is the leader of the Morales, a group of high schoolers who are driven to rebellion after watching their classmates get executed for supporting liberty. You know this because Yelena gives a speech calling out the names of those who died while symbolically shooting the gun that executed them, explaining that if they just stand by and let Anton get away with this dictatorship, the gun will soon be turned upon them. This shows the responsibility that has been thrust upon these high schoolers and the maturity that has developed from watching the senseless death of their friends. Wow, isn't that cool? Anyway, 2 missions later, they are hosting a massive party, giving away their location, letting Anton's army sneak into their base and kills nearly all of their fucking forces and 2 of the main characters. And it's written as if this is the point in the rebellion that they should start taking shit seriously or more people will die. But that was just illustrated by Yelena like 5 minutes ago. It illustrates their maturity, but then they just become immature high schoolers hosting parties, shooting fireworks into the air, giving away their position, and then they're fucked because of it. And only now are they starting to take shit seriously? What the fuck, dude? And what's incredible is that the party is the reason they got fucked over, and later they host more fucking parties. These characters are
Look,
just
hosting a party
stupid.
to provoke the enemy is one thing. Hosting a party and thinking that it's not going to expose your position is another much stupider thing.
Back in the 60s, they fought for everyone's freedoms, and then with those freedoms, the people just voted in the son of the previous dictator that they stopped. So understandably, the legends are burnt out and see no point in fighting
this
for
guy
a
is
country
getting
that
very
will
upset
fall
over a
again
video
after
game.
they are gone. Also, while we're on the topic, let
That's
me
the
say
point of
again,
life. What's the point of life if you can't get too invested in something, okay? Like, why am I so invested in anything? I mean, why care about anything? That's the alternative. You can either, you know, there's a lot of people that don't care about anything, and there's the people that maybe care a little too much, and there's the people in the middle, like me, who just consume the content of the people that care too much.
Not including the development that Anton and Diego get through the entire game, and with the villains getting no
And it's
screen
my
time and no
blessed
development,
entertainment.
the goal of beating them never really feels.
Can't say that I care the same
It's
amount.
just like shooting another soldier. I'm not actually kidding. We get a cutscene introducing us to one of the bad guys, and
But I find it
20 minutes
highly
later,
entertaining.
I check. 20 minutes later, you shoot her in the head, and everyone hosts a party to celebrate the victory. The only issue is, it doesn't feel like a victory for the player. Okay, you know what? I was giving that whole rap concert thing a lot of shit, and I think I need to explain why. The whole point of recruiting Maximus is purely for publicity. Bicho can host a radio station to communicate to the people that the revolution will save Yara, and Paolo and Talia can make music, which will grab people's attention and will help recruit people to liberty. Now, I think it's a clever idea that the rebellion would want some kind of recruiting scheme to help people of Yara fight find them and make them realize that they aren't the bad guys. It's actually quite smart. But then they hang the corpses of soldiers for their amusement, which is super fucked up, because in a previous region we had soldiers come forward and admit that the only reason they are serving in the army is to protect their family from Anton. The soldiers fighting against you hate what they're doing, but have no choice, as being in the military is the only way to feed their families and keep them safe. So when you see the rebellion doing this shit, it's kind of fucked up, because they know these people don't want this. And in the segment of the game where you're trying to make Anton's marketing manager look bad by hijacking an interview, they blow her brains out on live TV because she gave someone the wrong pronouns. Now, Paolo is trans, and obviously that statement would
Someone
really
is gonna
piss
think that's
off
acceptable.
Talia. But just smack her on the
Patrick
nose
says,
or something.
YouTube
Don't
chat
fucking
check.
make yourself look like a dickhead. And it's fucking annoying, because the game makes it seem like the people that believe in Anton saw you mindlessly blunder through a hostage situation and kill a beloved icon of Yara, and the people just go,
Yeah, the rebellion seems legit. I'm in.
There are so many characters doing so much stupid shit, to the point that if the story acknowledged it,
Indeed,
and
a
acknowledged the
blendy
shit that
thing.
they keep pulling,
I guess
they'd
I could.
actually come across
What's that
as the
blending?
bad guys to an extent. So in the end, you just block it all out. Far Cry 6 throws so many faces at you that you never get the chance to connect with any of them, and even if you manage to connect with them, their pissy attitudes and stupidity will definitely change your mind. And all of this results in there being
different brush packs have
to
different
develop
things.
smaller villains, resulting in your victories.
Really, does one brush
feeling
pack have absolutely
However,
everything I
not
need?
all the villains share this fate. But before I can talk about them, let's talk about something that I didn't expect this game to get right.
You don't believe me?
Velocinistaco says, make your own brush back.
Oh lord.
Velocinistaco says,
You want me?
back.
I never
Gameplay
fucking
for Far
complete a
Cry
drawing
games is
again
pretty
then.
straightforward. Shoot all of the shooty men, liberate the outpost, and take a giant hit to your social credit score.
Velocinistaco
Do that
says,
a couple of hundred times
okay,
and
someday.
you've got a game. And while this isn't really new, there have been 2 improvements to this installment that make liberating outposts a lot more enjoyable.
Says,
weapon utility
start
and
making a list
level
of brushes
design.
you like
In Far
now.
Cry 6, weapons have the
Yeah,
same
that's fair
killing
enough.
capacity
Like, yeah,
as
if I
a
just
weak
took all the
foe.
brushes I
The
actually
behind
did,
that
like,
is
from
that
all the
you need
different
to
packs I
design your
have,
weapons to have a specific role
and then it
to
would be
play.
one
For a
thing.
stealthy
Lamb
weapon,
says,
I'd recommend a
God,
suppressed
making brushes
pistol
is
with
such a hassle.
armor-piercing rounds
Do not
that helps
recommend.
avoid detection and ensures that the round will
Her
ignore
puppets
the
are gonna
helmet
be
for a
white.
quick and easy kill. Been
Mhm.
caught and need to kill multiple enemies? Automatic assault rifle, soft
Yeah, I had my
rounds,
share of
adaptable sight for
pain
different
just
ranges,
in
and
Paint
you're
Tool
good
Sai.
to go. Oh
I'm fucking
shit,
good.
a helicopter coming your way? May I recommend big?
Velocinistaco says, yeah,
And
just
for your
collect the
long
ones you
range,
like now,
get yourself a
so it's
sniper
easy to
rifle,
get
slap
to.
on the perk that gives your first bullet
Iambic
more
Lamb
damage,
says,
and you'll be good
that's
to go.
what I did,
Having
yeah.
such a
Scavenge
variety
brushes
of
from the
threats
packs I
forces
had,
the player to
kept
lay
them in
out
the
their
cloud.
loadout before going into a mission.
Like, Paint Tool
Because if
Sai
you
was
get
annoying because I had to,
caught
like,
out by a
manually
chopper
make the
and
brushes.
you don't have frag rounds on a heavy weapon, you are going to get fucked. It gives weapons that kind of important role that I haven't really felt in a Far Cry game before. Everything has just been pick up the assault rifle, then pick up the better assault rifle, and so on and so on. I'm so used to when playing these games, if you're actually good at the games, you can just pick up the first gun at the beginning of the game and use it from beginning to end. But here, the game forces your hand into making choices that will help you in the future. Okay, now that we have our weapons, let's go liberate a base. And this is where the level design comes in. You can easily just run in guns blazing and you might make it out alive. But what I really love is how the very first base that you liberate teaches you how all outposts work throughout the game. While standing from a distance, you can see there's an opening on the right side of the base that you can sneak into. But the more you look around, the more entrances you'll be able to find. Naturally, with the right side of the outpost being closer, most players are just going to head to that entrance. Now, keep in mind, this is the first time you've interacted with an outpost, so you aren't sure what is climbable and what isn't. Now, you can see my hesitation at first, but in the end, I try to go to that entrance. I jump and I fall straight into the water. This design is intentional. By taking the leap of faith, you end up falling into the water and finding a third hidden entrance that, while was visible, wasn't that obvious. The game has now taught you that there will be hidden entrances that can allow you a more stealthy entrance into the outpost, as long as you put in the effort to find them. Now, at first I still thought this was a little silly, to have an entire entrance just be fake for the sake of teaching us about observation, but it actually isn't.
Okay, now for the lower body clothing.
Right side of the outpost, and you're unable to shoot him from anywhere except for up on the wall. So you climb up on the wall and oh, what is this? That is the grappling hook that you could have used to swing over the gap. And with that lesson, whenever you feel stuck, look up. Chances are there's going to be a vertical option. Hell, you don't even have to use this to swing the gap. You could just use this to climb up onto the wall. The choice is yours, and it's that sense of freedom that makes this game so fun. The freedom to choose
wait, I ate my lunch, and then I made myself two different protein-filled snacks to try and stuff myself with protein in the case that I opened up any space. I have 1 hour left to eat.
What's the snacks?
Greek yogurt with fruit and protein powder, and like it's arrows and mango slices. And the boba tea I bought with almond milk and protein powder added. That tastes fine.
What are you trying to eat in so little time?
Can I be honest with you guys about something?
Because I'm not gonna eat for another 18 hours after.
Just boring to play, because in that situation I can save myself the pain and stop playing. No, I hate Far Cry 6 because instead of just being a mediocre game and leaving it at that, Far Cry 6 constantly tricks you into thinking you're playing a good game only to piss in your mouth.
I mean, I usually just kind of vacillate between 16 and 18.
Into that. I've been referring to this game as hit or miss for a while now, and while this may be a throwaway little line for some of you, I need you guys to understand what I mean. And if I haven't been able to convince you so far of what I'm talking about,
there's not
then
much difference between those times.
I have no idea how to
there is differences and it's more time, but
do I talk about his history in the
feel that much different.
Do I talk about Anton from his son's perspective, or do I just lay out it from the player's perspective? Anton is such a delicate character to talk about that if I even miss one little detail, my whole argument will fall apart. So instead, let's talk about Diego. The relationship between Diego and Anton is one of a teacher and a student. Anton educates Diego on what it takes to be a leader in Yara and how the people need to be treated in order to build paradise. Anton's lessons are violent and manipulative, which is a drastic contrast to Diego, who is actually very kind at heart. Every time we see Diego, he is either pushing back on his father's ideals or doing the polar opposite of what he does. Anton wants to rule Yara, Diego wants to lead. Anton wants to stop the resistance, whilst Diego is curious about how the old resistance won. Where Anton refuses to give America the cure to cancer, Diego feels empathy and offers a reporter a dose of the cure for her dying father. Where Anton wants to destroy liberty, Diego, while being taught to hate them, at one point aids them with an escape and gives them critical information. The contrast from Anton to Diego is fascinating, but not just because of the opposites, but because of Diego's tendency to be just like his father. When he wants to learn about the history of the legends and how they won, it's portrayed as if Diego wants to know how to beat his father. But the second that the prisoner shows hostility, he strikes him down, a microcosm reflecting Anton striking down all those who fight for freedom. At the start of the game, we see Anton being very firm on people who lie. If he suspects a lie, he will ask if it is a truth or a lie. And by the end of the game, we see Diego mirroring his father.
Truth or lies?
Truth. Truth or lies?
Always truth.
Where we start our story with Diego being nothing like his father, we get to see how Anton
Velok in
has
Estacco
broken his
says,
son into
I gotta do
another
occupable things,
Anton. Not
so I am
completely
alert and be in and out for a
transforming
little
him,
sorry.
but with his teachings being reflected in the way
Okay.
Diego speaks. This leaves the player guessing whether Diego has been turned or if he still despises his father. And the one thing giving you hope that Diego is on your side is the fact that
Velok
he
in
gave you
Estacco says,
critical information halfway
I shouldn't be
through
long
the
though.
game. Now, when I
Well,
first
then go
began
quickly
playing
and
Far Cry
return
6,
quicklier.
I didn't like Anton's character because his motivations just made no sense. Before the game takes place, Anton had become the president and brought forth scientists that had found the cure for cancer. The medical industry brings money to the people of Yara, the military keeps everyone safe, and yet, out of nowhere, Anton goes full-blown fascist and imprisons people and starts putting them into slave camps. But just, why the fuck would you do something like this? Because he was sick. Anton has cancer and is dying. Let's go back a bit. When Anton was a child, he saw his country crumble to ruin. He describes his father as a wise but brutal leader, and before his father's vision was complete, the revolution struck him down, killing him and threw Anton into slavery. After years of enslavement as a punishment for his father's cruelty, he was set free, and years after that was diagnosed with acute leukemia. Anton had dreamed of being a leader for Yara so he could finish his father's vision. So, as insurance, he had a son who he would mold into the future leader of Yara. But by some miracle, a scientist came forth with an experimental cure grown from the tobacco that Anton once farmed. Using the promise of a powerful, legally drug-fueled economy, Anton rose to power. He gave people jobs, enlisted soldiers to protect the people. While still suffering from leukemia, the cancer drug later named vtuber kept him healthy, and with a bright future for Yara, he made a great leader, and his vision for Yara was slowly becoming a reality. But then the vtuber stopped working. Anton's body was rejecting his treatments, and in doing so, he was starting to decay away. Knowing his vision for Yara was in jeopardy, he needed to speed up the process. We need workers for the field, stronger fertilizer. We don't have time to evacuate the fields, fertilizer while they work. The people started fighting back. We need more soldiers. How do we trick the Yarans into thinking this is for the safety of Yara? Fuck it, call it a draft. And then the game begins. Anton is a man that wants to see his country blossom from third world to first, but is so scared that if he doesn't personally see it through,
I guess we gotta give her some pants. I mean, the more I look at her, the more I'm thinking that she need pants. No, that's just not that's not just my laziness calling in, okay?
Making a consumable good.
Is vtuber produced with
Is
slave
it?
labor?
Truth or lies?
The truth, of course.
Yara did not write
Velok
the
in
playbook.
Estacco says,
Slavery was your
XD.
first corporation, 1800 to 1860. Cotton was your #1 export. Grown by whom?
Just a second.
Slaves. 4 million Americans worth $3.5 billion. The #1 asset in your economy was people who look like me. What is that called?
A history lesson?
A head start. Replaced by a billion-dollar prison industry that pays its inmates pennies.
America is not alone.
Correct. Children sew our clothes. Sweatshops build our phones, and vtuber saves millions of lives. Do you think that those lives care where it comes from?
Anton is a monster, there is no doubt about that, but the fact that you can see why he does these things, it's fascinating and it's really well written. Later in the game we find out Anton is dying, but before and even after that, every time we see Anton molding Diego into a leader, it's always after the death of an important character in his army. A subtle detail illustrating that Anton, the closer he gets to death and losing, tries to teach his son more and more so that he can take his place. Anton's speeches are powerful and bold. He is a man of many words, and his actions reflect those words. He briefly talks about his grandmother and how she would have made a great leader if Yara back in the day wasn't so against women being in roles of authority. And later in the game, we see that he intentionally put a woman in charge of his entire army. And it's little things like that that really flesh out Anton's beliefs. Everything he says, he believes. The game is finally coming to a close when you confront Anton. Anton says goodbye to his son and asks you if you'll be able to protect his son from those who would want to villainize Diego for his actions. Anton was 13 when his father was killed. Diego is 13 years old. And you can see when Anton realizes that. When Anton's father died, he was beaten and enslaved for over 15 years. Anton was 13, and so is Diego. And so, Anton kills Diego so that Diego won't suffer like he did. He proceeds to kill himself, and that's it. That was Anton and Diego. Diego was innocent, potentially turned malignant, and Anton was a good man turned monster out of fear of failing his father's vision. A vision that he did not want his son to burden. And that's just... fuck, man. That's just really well done. Hey guys. Hey guys, guess what? Yep. This is the part of the video where I tell you that Anton fucking sucks. Anton's character works because he is innocence turned rotten. That's the entire point of the character, because it reflects Diego's innocence slowly turning rotten as well. But the game fucks all of this up by letting you know that before the draft was put into place and before vtuber stopped curing him, that he was financing scientists to do human experiments on children and the homeless to make vtuber, making the one admirable trait of Anton's completely null and void. Instead of him being a good guy from a dark past turned villain, he is a villain turned villain with a side serving of slave camp. Are you fucking joking me? Also, they end Diego's character with a callback to a character that had 2 minutes of screen time.
You're the lucky one, Danny. You're the lucky one.
It's okay, Danny.
I didn't manage to switch the colors entirely.
Making Diego's last words mirror a death scene you didn't care about without Diego even being there to even know this line is more fucking jarring than an ad break in the middle of a set. Donate to the Patreon, get early access, talk to me on Discord. All of the tiers give you all the rewards no matter how much you pledge. I'm really sorry, but I think I earned this plug. These videos take a really long time to make.
How would I know? Maybe you meant to type that into the search bar. There's probably a lot of good tutorials, and I know it's possible, but I don't play it enough.
Fucking brain dead. Anton is calculated, manipulative, and dangerous. You never know what he's got up his sleeve, but all of that gets dropped in the dinner scene. Anton kidnaps the leader of Liberty after enacting a ceasefire, leading you into a stealth mission trying to break into his sanctum. With the help of a few friends, you manage to kill the soldiers and make it to where Clara is being held, which leads to Anton promising Clara's safety if Danny, that being you, joins his army as his new commander.
You know when I captured Clara? I thought I had won, but it took my son to show me what was right before my eyes. You are Libertad.
I'm just a guerrilla.
No lies at my table. You're a legend. They tell stories about you. Come on. You are their hope. And now, you will become my hope.
You're kidding, right?
You still don't get it. I told you to leave. This is your fault.
You want her to live. You will accept the rank of general of my army. You will be my hope, my legend, my Danny Rojas.
He understands that the people look up to you as you've been the only one traveling Yara recruiting for Liberty. If you join Anton, Liberty will lose faith and collapse. It's a pretty smart idea. But before you can make a choice, one of your buddies gets impatient waiting for a clear shot on Anton and goes to kill Diego. Danny, knowing that Diego is just an innocent kid, she jumps in front of Diego, saving his life and almost killing herself in the process.
I'm taking the shot.
One no!
Anton just witnessed you save his son's life. Now let's play a little game. What do you think Anton does after witnessing all of that unfold? does he A. let Clara go as an honorable gesture, trading one saved life for another, B. after witnessing your protective nature towards Diego, uses his son's life as a hostage manipulation tool to force your hand into joining his army, realizes that the rebellion really does just want to save life and starts to contemplate if his methods are flawed, or D. realizing Diego didn't get shot, then shoots Diego in the arm to use him as a campaigning ploy to convince Yara that Liberty are fine with child murder after trying to kill his son. Let's take a look.
One, no!
So, yeah. So he shoots his only bargaining tool. Why? I don't know why this pisses me off so much, but I just can't understand the logic of any of this. The logic in this scene is fucking stupid. He wasn't pissed because you promised no backup, because he knew you and the rebellion were coming for Clara. You never made that promise. So you having backup is not new information to him. And it's not like he thought his son was dead so he decided to shoot Clara, because he calls out to Diego the second the rebellion opens fire after Clara dies. Like, why? You know what? No. You know what? No. Fuck this. I'm done talking about this game, okay? I'm done. Fuck Far Cry 6. This was the one element that made me like your game, Ubisoft, and you blew it. The last 3 Far Cry games have been shit, and it hurts me to say it, but so is this one. Take the hint that I couldn't, and stop buying these games. Hello? Yeah, I'm just wrapping up the video now. Yeah, dude, I know. It fucking sucks. What? What do you mean the DLC's good? God damn it! Now I have to make another video on Far Cry!
No, the shorts still aren't right. Does that mean the legs aren't right? If Twitter and the nonsensical ramblings of your average Discord mod has taught me anything, it's that gamers truly believe that they are oppressed. From microtransactions, battle passes, skin sales, all the way to Judy not wanting to fuck you if you're a man.
Oh, let's go! That's class!
Don't go there, dude.
However, outside of not being able to get one's pickle battered, there is one thing that shatters the soul of a gamer, and it's the promise of something new and exciting, only for it to be more disappointing than a strip club sponsored by Kathmandu. We've had a lot of games in the last 2 years that fit this description, such as The Last of Us 2 and Cyberpunk 2077. Games that, while did have a lot of good to offer, didn't manage to sit well with everyone and left many disappointed. And that is where 12 Minutes comes in. 12 Minutes is a story-rich mystery thriller set within the confines of a time loop. And if that wasn't enough to get your nipples pointing to the horizon, the game also has an all-star cast featuring the Green Goblin, that one British girl everyone hates for some reason, and the dude that won't stop playing disabled people. Yet despite such a promising idea, headed by some of the biggest names in the industry, the game was very poorly received, which leaves the question, where did Zenny's Sex Games video come? Which leaves the question, what happened? There are 3 things that seem to bother people: the tedium of progression, the twist, and the grounding of reality. 12 Minutes has you playing the role of an unnamed man living in his apartment with his wife. You share a dessert, she surprises you with the news that she is pregnant, and you both celebrate with a dance. Moments later, you are interrupted by a police officer, and you are killed after being asked for a watch. This is where the first time loop comes into effect, and where the game truly starts. The goal of the game is never truly clear and fluctuates as you play. The only thing that you know is that dying, it turns out, is bad for you. Using deductive reasoning and effectively using the items within your environment, you're able to delay your death and find out more information within each loop. Now, this is where a lot of players started to get lost, not in how to progress, but in the annoyance of moving forward. You see, after the first 3 to 5 loops, you end up repeating a lot of the same steps to get to specific situations where you can pry for more information, with the understanding that no matter what you do or whatever information you get, time will reset no matter what, and you will start from the beginning anyway. It's a little hard to put into words, so you know what? Let me just show you. In 12 minutes, you are always repeating parts of the game. In 12 minutes, you are always repeating parts of the game that you've already played. In 12 minutes, you are always repeating parts of the game that you've already played in the hopes of obtaining. In 12 minutes, you are always repeating parts of the game that you've already played in the hopes of obtaining something new. In 12 minutes, you are always repeating parts of the game that you've already played in the hopes of obtaining something new. And this happens over and over and over and over and over and over again. You see, each time you discover something new, you have the satisfaction of progressing further, but now, every time the time loop restarts, you have to go through all of those steps you just went through just to get to where you want to be, just so you can try a piece of dialogue that may not even work. This wastes more time and starts your time loop all over again. I played and finished 12 minutes in 6 hours, yet when it comes to actual content, there's only really an hour's worth of it, if you know what you are doing. And where trial and error is a lot of fun at the start, due to you not having to do that much for the story to unfold, the further you progress, the more bullshit you have to go through in order to get to the part of the game you actually want to play. The tedium of progression leaves you unmotivated, and you just
Oh no, what do you mean unknown error?
And the story is
Save my drawing, you dipshit.
convoluted, to say the least. In any mystery, the thrill of victory stems from the aha moment, where the pieces that were presented to you within the film or game all link together and lead the main character to the final conclusion. In detective shows, the audience and the detective are always on the same page. Both groups hold all of the information, but only the detective is smart enough to put all the pieces together, which leads to the aha moment. The reason a lot of mysteries fail in forms of media is because some form of information is being withheld from the audience and is revealed at the last moment. Now, this is still okay and can work, but only if the detective is discovering this final piece at the same time as the audience. They are just as shocked as the audience. What doesn't work is when the detective goes, well, actually, there is this piece of evidence that I never told anyone that I had the whole time. In this situation, the audience has been cheated out of the opportunity to figure out the mystery before the detective, resulting in an instead of an aha. You were never on the same page as the main character that you've been following throughout the story. You both were sharing the same perspective, excluding the one piece that seemed to matter most. And this is where 12 minutes seems to fail as well. I'm going to try my best to explain the story in the way that the game wants it to unfold. A man accuses your wife of killing her father and is looking for a watch. In the next loop with this information, you manage to get out of your wife that she did indeed kill her father and stole his watch that the cop is looking for. She was mad at him due to him having an affair with her nanny when she was a child, and her mother passed away 2 years after this affair. Living alone with her father, she then grew up, he hit her, and she shot him. She explains that she shot him before New Year's and left and took his watch. In the next time loop, you manage to find out through this supposed cop that he was with her father when he died of a gunshot on New Year's Eve. However, you have a photo of your wife at a party on the other side of the country on New Year's Eve, the same year she assumed that her father died, leading you to the realization that she thinks she killed her father, but he was shot again weeks later and didn't actually die when she assumed him dead. The next goal is simple: find out who killed her father and convince the supposed cop. After many time loops, you find out that the nanny that had an affair with your wife's father was pregnant and had a child. I'm skipping a lot here, but you realize that it was her brother that killed the father, as her father, before he died, said the word monster to his friend, which is what the wife called the baby that the nanny was carrying inside her after the affair. The father never told his daughter about this supposed brother. After a few more time loops, all the pieces seem to be clicking together. At the beginning of the game, when the wife announces that she's pregnant to you, she says she wants to name the baby after your mother. And the big reveal here is the discovery that the name of the nanny is your mother's name, meaning you and your wife are brother and sister, and you are the one that killed her father. Okay, so there is a lot to unpack here. A detective holding information from the audience leaves a mystery falling flat, and a murderer just forgetting that he is a murderer also leaves a story falling flat, especially when the main character is the stand-in for the detective and the killer at the same time. If the main character never knew that his wife was his sister, this twist might work. However, it is presented that not only did he know who his sister was, who his father was, but also who his mother was. The only reason there is even a mystery to solve revolves around the idea that your character
alternatively, this does work when the character doesn't know. Alright? Case in point, root double after crime before days. Or maybe it's root double before crime after days? Point being, there's this game called Root Double, where you play the main character who did some heinous shit, but your memory gets wiped as that game starts. So you run around with an entirely different personality, and everyone is scared of you, and you never understand why. You have to like pry it out of them by gaining their trust. And like you don't understand why the people you're trying to rescue keep running away from you. It's amazing. But the one thing I don't like about that one is that when the main character finally does regain all his memories, his personality does shift a bit back into his original, like a bit towards his original self, which is more of a serious taciturn guy, you know, a rescue captain or a rescue squad leader. Used to very dangerous situations. He's a capable man, and the character you are playing as was more of, you know, someone who's totally clueless but has like a determined heart to rescue people. Kind of because he was told by everyone around him that he is the rescue captain and he needs to step up into the role, even if he doesn't remember what to do. He needs to both trust in his subordinates to guide the way while having the leadership skills to pull them to like survival. But when he gets all his memories back, he becomes a bit more serious, a bit less loving and generous and soft, because you know he gets back the memories of everything he's gone through in life. So me, it's kind of sad. It's still a good game. I liked it very much.
that you forgot that you murdered yours and her father, but also that you forgot that your mother was a nanny, despite your father sitting you down and telling you that being with your sister is bad. It's one thing for the detective to be withholding the evidence that reveals that the killer was the butler. It's another thing for the detective to be withholding the evidence that reveals that he is in fact the killer, but he just forgot he was the killer the whole time. Also, the detective loves fucking his sister. If they somehow explained how he could possibly forget all of this shit, maybe I'd let it slide. But even then, the only reason he gets with his wife is because of the connection that he knew that they were relatives. She didn't know, but he fucking did. The last thing I want to talk about is the lack of grounded reality that the game upholds. There are a lot of details that the game either leaves out or intentionally fucks up in order to leave you theorizing on how any of this makes any sense. Firstly, the cop and the father share the same voice actor, leading many to theorize that they are the same character, which is a cool theory until you realize that the cop is there about the murder and neither the cop or your wife recognize each other. You'll find a lot of people theorizing trying to make this game make sense, but the smallest amount of logic just leaves the story with more holes than Julius fucking Caesar. Oh, it's all in his head. He didn't kill the father. It's all in his head to prevent him from thinking about how he discovered he's married his sister. Okay, cool. Then how the fuck is there even a game then? We have two characters acknowledging that there was in fact a murder, so that theory doesn't work. Oh, this meeting never happened with his father. Okay, cool. So then who the fuck killed the father? We are now left with no conclusion. Oh, it's all just a therapy session. Okay, so none of this is real? Why should I be invested? When you are left with a mystery so convoluted and baffling, the last thing you need to be doing is introducing concepts like none of it really happened. Like, do you know how insane that is? Because if that's the case, this game was written around the two cardinal sins of story writing. Never end a story with "it was all a dream," and don't have your characters randomly forget heavy plot points without explaining how. This is the same shit that had Game of Thrones fans fuming.
Danny kind of forgot about the Iron Fleet.
12 minutes is a game so excited to leave players shocked that it forgets to link the dots in a mystery desperate for a logical conclusion that never existed in the first place. And understandably, this left a lot of players frustrated, with their only outlets being Steam and Metacritic. And the frustration isn't exclusive to these platforms. You see, if Twitter and the nonsensical ramblings of your average Discord mod has taught me anything, it's that gamers truly believe that they are wait a... In 2018, I made the change from being a commentary channel and decided that I wanted to be this rare thing called happy. Instead of preying on cringe-inducing assholes like I was any better in order to make content, I jumped from one oversaturated YouTube genre into the next and started making video essays on storytelling within video games. Plus, you know, that one video that isn't about a video game that happened to blow up and I contemplate deleting it every fucking day. What I've discovered in this time is when it comes to story writing in the medium of video games, there are two ways that you can lay out your narrative: a linear linear narrative, where all the events of the game happen in an already determined order and cannot be changed, and non-linear, where the events of the game can happen in a varying order and also have the benefit of ending on a different note throughout your various playthroughs. Where linear storytelling is more akin to admiring an already complete piece of artwork, non-linear stories like to give you a clean canvas and request that you paint something with varying outcomes on what the final piece is going to look like. And this is where a small indie game titled Road 96 comes into play. Road 96 is a story-rich adventure game created by Digix Art, a French studio comprised of some of the greatest minds in the gaming industry, making games full of innovations and writing stories overflowing with creativity. And knowing what the gaming industry is like, this is probably the reason on why you've never fucking heard of them. Now, I'm not here to tell you that Road 96 invented a new form of storytelling, because, yeah, that'd be completely untrue. If a story isn't linear, then by default, it is non-linear. But hear me out. What makes Road 96 so special isn't the fact that it is non-linear, it's how the game innovates on how non-linear stories are traditionally told. In today's video, I want to take a deeper look at Road 96 to discuss everything from its world, your journey, the people you meet along the way, and how Road 96 single-handedly reinvented storytelling in video games. It's been a while, and let me
Wait,
just
is this
say,
like a
it's
positive
good to be
review?
back.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I can watch a positive review. I want anger and hatred.
This is you.
Let's go to
Your
this,
name is Square
the
Enix,
Forspoken
and the year
review
is
instead.
1985, which now that I think about it means your name isn't Square Enix. Your actual name is just Square. Square has developed many games that we aren't going to pretend you care
I have
about.
become
Let's
tech
not
support
lie
no
to
longer
ourselves who
sorry.
haven't played any of them. Games like
Win
this one,
against the
that
tech.
one over there, and some other thing. But then Square would make a game. One game that would change the trajectory of the company for years to come. And that game was King's Final Fantasy! A fantasy role-playing game developed by Square in 1987. And yeah, I guess you could say it was successful. It even spawned a few sequels. Jump to 2020 and your name is actually Square Enix now, and you've got an announcement for the world. I'm not doing a Japanese accent because that would be racist. Also, Project Athia! A new IP from Square Enix, a story-led, action-packed adventure designed from the ground up for PlayStation 5. Headed by Loomis Productions, a studio started up by Square Enix to hone the power of the Loomis engine to bring us one of the most beautiful games of all time. Square Enix was sure they were going to release one of this generation's best games, and nothing in the whole world was going to stop them. Oh no.
No, 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 no. No, no.
The launch of Forspoken has been an absolute disaster. Horrendous dialogue, a massive graphical downgrade, and some of the worst optimization of any AAA game released today. But underneath all of that, under all of the crashes, the writing, the frame rate drops, is there actually a good game here? And is all the hate that this game gets really justified? In today's video, I'm going to be taking, in my opinion, the deepest look that you're going to get at Forspoken to discuss everything from its combat, its opening, its characters, and its story to finally answer the question, is Forspoken really that bad? Welcome to a critical view of Forspoken.
Gonna have to clean some shit up. I don't want to have to like race over it carefully. Do the stockings. Oh, just select more. Select more.
You are hating Forspoken wrong. It's a spiteful title that insinuates that you as a player or an audience member are incapable of coming to a valid conclusion about this game. Is it clickbait? Well, no, because you are hating Forspoken wrong. But let me clarify. My issue isn't that you are hating Forspoken incorrectly. My issue is that you aren't meeting your true hater potential. Put it simply, you need to be hating this game more. Now let me be clear, this isn't your fault, because you most likely sit in one of two categories. Either you watched your favorite streamer play the game for the first 5 hours and concluded that the game was shit, or you're a PC player and the game doesn't fucking run properly. I mean, you could be a PlayStation 5 owner who played the game and everything went well, but let's not lie to ourselves here, none of you fucking own one. Either you can't play the game, or you watched someone else played it, they made fun of the MCU dialogue, blah 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 blah, and then they just signed off. But I am here to tell you that outside of the opening of this game, things get worse. Like, way worse. There is one element of the game that people seem to be getting wrong, and I love it. But before we can discuss the one redeeming element of this game, let's discuss the opening and the start to our adventure. When writing for a video game, it is really important that you establish the player character correctly. Fail to have us invested in the player character and your whole story will suffer for it. You play as Frey, a 21-year-old New Yorker down on her luck as she struggles to save enough money to move out of the city and truly start her life. After losing everything, she is teleported to a different dimension where the world is being terrorized by the tyrannical Taunters. Your goal is simple. Save the people of this world by killing the Taunters, and maybe they can find you a way back home. Now that's an incredibly watered down summary of the story, and I probably will elaborate later. But as a writer, to put all of these events into motion, you need to establish 3 things. Who is Frey and why do we like her? Where does she live and why does she want to get back? And what is this dimension and how did she get there? Okay, I mean, technically that's 6 things, but technically you're unlovable and you'll die alone, so let's just pretend it was 3, okay? Frey was orphaned as a child. She has grown up with nothing and has turned to crime in order to make her way through life. The gang she's in wants her dead, she's basically homeless, and is desperate for a way out of the situation. She has a cute cat that she loves reading, and she's always cracking jokes despite her life being the fucking worst. Now I'm explaining all this for a reason. How do you think a game conveys all of this information to us in a natural way that doesn't feel forced? We're going to do an exercise here. You may have heard of it. It's called writing. We are going to be writing our own opening in the hopes of making everything make sense, and then I'll show you what the game actually went for. The game opens up in a courthouse, so let's actually just do the same thing. Let's start here. Let's have Frey in court as she's been caught for another crime. The judge can make a remark that this time only she was caught as opposed to her and her gang. This establishes that not only is Frey in a gang, but that she has had multiple felonies all related to one another. You could even open the game with the crime that Frey committed with the gang to visually show us how Frey fucked things up, got caught, and why the gang wants to mess her up due to her fumbling the job. You could even make it that she was stealing antiques and she heard a voice call out to her, making her hesitate, which is why the job fell apart. I'm putting this here for a future explanation, just you wait. Now let's have the judge empathize with Frey, as the judge was on the board when Frey was abandoned on the streets as an infant. This not only allows the judge to let Frey go with a warning because she likes her, but also brings up the fact that Frey was orphaned. You could even have there be a remark that they are going to call her a taxi, as she was never adopted and has no one to come and get her. Top this all off with her cracking a small joke as she leaves. It wouldn't be necessarily funny, but it could be a really good way to illustrate to the audience that she uses humor as a coping mechanism. She goes to her trashy apartment and we see Homer, her cute cat. This is her ties to this world, why she refuses to leave the city, and why she would want to come back should she be teleported to, oh, I don't know, another world. She cannot leave arguably her only family behind. She sits down and reads a book to Homer as the scene fades.
Dude, did you win against the machines?
And congratulations, we have successfully managed to establish 2 of our 3
I may be dropping
elements,
frames.
also checking off all of the character notes I pointed out at the start. Now we're going to stop here for now, because everything that I explained would have worked, but that sure as hell is not what this game went with. Let's go one by one, shall we? How do we know the Frey is an orphan? Because the game forces you to read a random document while you're on trial. How do we know she has a criminal history? Because the game forces you to read a random document while you're on trial. How do we know that she likes reading? Because the game forces you to read a random document while you're on trial. How do we know the gang wants her dead? Because they explain something that happened off screen and put a gun to her head in an open and public space, making them seem stupid? Okay, how do they establish that Frey has a good sense of humor? She makes fun of the people that literally are about to murder her with a gun to her head.
Lisa? Really? I thought she was Lisa. Well, in my defense, you don't really look like a Lisa. Not like I wanted to get caught stealing the car, but here we are. Okay, fine, we'll just tell your boss, Mr. Chicken. Giggin. Gwiggin. Giggin! Alright, giggin. Quick gig.
One of us is gonna be in a lot of pain.
Do I get to pick?
Leaving the audience confused on if this scene is
Do I get
supposed to
that
be
pic?
serious or not. I explained in my version of the opening that her cat Homer is her tie to this world, but in the actual opening, she gives Homer up and is left with nothing tying her to the city. Number one, who is Frey and why do we like her? In my opening, we are organically given details about who Frey is, leaving us feeling like we know her, and we like her because of how optimistic she is that despite everything, she will never give up on Homer. She is an optimistic, down on her luck girl who we want to see succeed. In the actual opening, she is a stuck-up,
Not like I wanted to get caught stealing the car, but here we are.
unserious,
Okay, fine, we'll just tell your boss, Mr. Chicken.
unoptimistic,
You have so much
Potential? I can do so much more with my life. I'm a smart girl with a bright
Patrick
future.
says.
clown. Number
YouTube
two,
chat.
where does she live and why would she want to get back there? In my opening, she needs to get back as Homer has been abandoned and she is worried that he will die if left alone. This is her family. We see how much she loves him, and who doesn't love a cute cat? In the actual opening, after the gang sets her apartment on fire, she gives up Homer to the judge and just buggers off. Keep in mind, in my version of the opening, the judge actually liked Frey and has a past with her. In the actual opening, the judge says this.
You have so much
Potential? I can do so much more with my life. I'm a smart girl with a bright future.
I was going to say you have so much anger and resentment in you, I'm not sure you'll ever amount to anything at all.
Why does Frey feel like they're close enough to just dump an animal in her lap? Now, there is nothing tying Frey to the city. She has no reason to come back. So her desperation to get back to the city throughout the game just doesn't work. She says it's for Homer, but we never felt that connection, leaving us with the unexplained number 3. What is this dimension, and how did she get here? It is revealed that this was Frey's original home when she was an infant, and that she was sent to Earth to save her from the decaying world of Athia. The reason I've been telling you how I feel things should have gone is because Forspoken had a lot of potential, and miraculously seemed to fumble its story and its characters at every fucking turn. So here's the question: how did Frey get teleported to Athia? We're going to mix things up here. This time, I'm going to tell you how things actually happened, and then I'm going to tell you how things should have gone. Just to show you how easy it is to fix this fucking game. Frey finds a random cuff in an abandoned building, and it teleports her to Athia. Whoa! Oh, hold on, I'm sorry. I feel like I skipped over some details there. Let me try again. Frey is standing on top of a construction tower. She randomly gives off a ray of light. She looks down, happens to see a cuff in an abandoned building, touches it, and then gets teleported to another world. Now, to you guys, that may seem all well and good, but let me explain how
I'm
fucking
attempting to win
insane
still.
this is.
Probably
In the
won't.
actual
Maybe I don't
story,
think I'm enough of a
this
magician.
cuff is
Well,
linked
what's
to who
wrong?
Frey is
And have you
as a
consulted the ChatGPTs of the world?
It's the only item from Athia that sits on Earth. It's Frey's only tie to her mother. This cuff is the only thing that was able to unlock Frey's magical powers that she actually had the entire time. And she finds it by sheer fucking luck, by standing on a construction tower, looking down into an abandoned building, and this thing's just sitting there, waiting for the plot to just force Frey to find it, for no fucking reason. Now, in my version of the story, this thing at least helps Frey find it. In the game, it's a sentient cuff. It can talk. It's an antique. it's valuable, so it would be stored away with other valuable items, say an antique store. Frey is a criminal, so Frey goes to steal valuable things. She is genetically linked to the cuff, and it can speak, so it calls out to her because it's fucking magic, making her get caught by the cops. Later, when she's sleeping, she hears the cuff call out
I'll
to
explain
her
at some
because
point.
it's fucking
Too much to
magic.
type
She's
it out,
curious. She breaks into the crime
Okay,
scene.
well,
She sees the cuff that has been calling out to her because it's fucking magic. She touches it. It wakes up the powers she inherited from her mother, who, by the way, had powers to open up portals. She accidentally makes a portal and is brought to Athia. Ladies and gentlemen, we did it. All 3 boxes are ticked. Make the rest of the game by exploring the world, fighting bad guys in order to save Homer, and you've got yourself a fucking banger, baby. Instead, Frey happens to just fucking find the cuff by sheer luck, lands in Athia, and wants to get back to New York because reasons. Am I losing my fucking mind here? The explanation as to why the cuff is on Earth is that it went through the portal with Frey. This fucking thing has been sitting in a random building for over 20 years, waiting for Frey to find it. How did it get into the building if it was dropped off with Frey and Frey was found in the middle of the fucking street? How has no one fucking taken this thing? Or better yet, how has no one in general just found this thing? None of this is explained. The opening fails to do everything expected of it. Who is Frey and why do we like
Or
her?
even have the cuff be like endowed with some kind of camouflage magic, so that anyone that's not from the magic world that sees just like a random piece of metal, it's totally worthless.
What is this dimension and how did we get here? She got here by sheer fucking luck, and we are not told anything about this world for the first 10 hours of the game. Damn, what an absolute train wreck of an opening. I'm sure the rest of the game couldn't possibly get any worse. Oh, hold on. What is this? Is this a... Oh, god damn it. This video is going to be longer than my I'll make a video on it someday chart if I explain the story as its own segment. So, fuck it. I'm going to go through all of this shit as we go through the absolute mess of a story. So, here we go. You wake up in Athia with Cuff locked onto your arm. And no, not a Cuff, just Cuff. That's his name. This is Cuff. I'm probably not going to talk about him. Why? Because he's not a fucking character. He's just a thing.
I had a nightmare and it was 10 times better than this.
It is quite beautiful.
Yeah, in a everything here wants to kill you kind of way.
No, I just mean that even amongst the madness, there's a sort of delicate grace. Destruction and corruption are forms of creation in themselves.
You walk around a little bit and you bump into a dragon, which later on you'll come to realize is your mum. Now I hear you say, care to elaborate? And I'll simply reply with, could you kindly shut the fuck up? After trying to kill you for some reason. I just looked it up and apparently this isn't an error. This is actually just called parenting, so my mistake. The dragon drops you off to the only remaining livable city in Athia, and you're taken prisoner and sentenced to death. I am not joking when I say I honest to God thought they didn't like Frey because she's black. Because I have no idea why they do this. They call you a demon because you came from outside of the city, which apparently is just unheard of due to the break. What is the break? Shut the fuck up. The city takes you prisoner until you're broken out by this lady, and holy fuck, it's time to talk about the level design, because this shit is ugly and boring as fuck. Now, level design can be 2 things: visual presentation and interactability. We're just going to talk about the visuals for now. Put it simply, it sucks. The city looks like if the concept of a square fucked a flat slab of concrete. There is just no detailing anywhere. Everything's just flat, like literally and color-wise. And you know the devs were embarrassed by the level design, because when you break out of prison and you are set loose in the city, the game does everything for you. Like, everything. I'm not holding the controller here. The level design is so bland that the game is scared shitless to let you explore it yourself during the stealth mission. Because if you fail here and had to restart this long, boring, tedious mission with this level design, they know you're gonna turn this game off. I'm lost for words here. I don't know what to say. What the fuck am I supposed to say? Look at this. As for the rest of the game, it's a big load of empty. Fucking hell, they don't even explain how the biomes work correctly. I'm not kidding when I say that apparently, according to the game, both this biome and this biome are under fucking water. No, seriously, you're underwater.
Wait, am I breathing underwater?
The thicker the break becomes, the less the rules of the normal world apply.
Well, not much is gonna surprise me after this.
At least when I'm in a cutscene, there are, characters to contrast from the fucking slabs of concrete. Oh, shh, here comes one now. Oh, you've got to be joking. You'll be amazed to hear that I'll be talking about all the characters in this segment. And you're also probably astonished because you're looking at the timeline of this video, seeing the length of this segment and wondering why it's so fucking short. Why is it short? Because no one in this fucking game is a likable character. It is fucking ballsy of me to even call them characters. The word character is doing a lot of fucking legwork. Now let me be clear. Characters can be unlikable and be good. It's why we're going to be talking about the villains in an upcoming segment.
How is the drawing going?
Everybody else?
Well, I just gotta finish the stackings. Stockings.
Literally being alive.
And then draw a sketch of the portrait. I'm taking a yarn break.
I wouldn't exactly say unscathed.
It is because she and the corruption are one and the same. We must execute her immediately.
And when the city finally warms up to her, it's not because she's kind or they realize she's not a threat. It's because she goes and murders a few people, and that's kind of based, I guess. Could I tell you anyone's names? Nope. In fact, you'd be better off describing the characters with the term angry. Angry librarian. Angry councilman. Angry protagonist. Fact is, everyone cannot stand Frey. So why me playing as Frey?
It's looking very good to me, but tiny screen makes it hard to see. Enjoy yarn break.
Insane, because I honestly don't blame them for not liking her either. Because I sure as fuck don't. When the father of her only friend in this world dies, she loses her shit and gets pissy about it and doesn't even think to comfort her friend.
Fuck. Break Bob was my last shot at getting out of this place. Now I'm stuck in this insanity.
Apologies if my father's death has inconvenienced you. I have lost the father who I only was just reunited with, who I was hoping to spend more time with, who was all I had left. I'm sorry that's been so hard on you.
No, I didn't what?
Think? No, your only concern is for yourself. My people have lost so much. They can't just get out of this insanity. This is their home. My home. But don't let our grief and assured destruction get in the way of your self-pity.
Okay, that's fair.
Fair? You want to talk about fair? What's unfair is the only person capable of helping us is too self-absorbed to do so.
I don't care what happens to Athia. If it's saved or if it burns, I don't give a shit because this place is not my home.
She even cracks a joke. I'm not joking here. She cracks a joke about the father 5 seconds after he dies.
Yeah. Yeah, a whoosh. I gotta get back to where I gotta be through a whoosh.
Whoosh. Whoosh.
Yes. Whoosh.
The only person in this game that likes you isn't even a person. It's a talking inanimate object. And this fucker is gonna turn out to be the villain. Are the villains any better? No, they're not any better. Every single one of them will turn out to actually be a super cool, epic good guy. The dragon? That's your mummy. The Tanters? Those are your aunties. All the monsters in the world are confused because of the break and... Don't worry, we'll get to the fucking break real soon. The Taunters will turn out to only be bad guys because of their cuffs, and the cuffs are somehow linked to the break that's making every other motherfucker evil, right? Okay, you know what? Fuck it. Here's a good question. What the fuck is the break? Nobody fucking knows! Not even the developers know! The game tells you that the world fell apart because of the break, but it is never explained where it came from, what causes it, and how you stop it. It is the thing killing off the population, and it showed up around the time the Taunters went evil. Oh, so it must be caused by the Taunters. No, it's not. The Taunters are evil because of just some guy. And we'll fucking get to that too, don't worry. But no, they don't control the fabric of the world. They're just people with elemental powers. So it turns out that outside of the three people that are just a little bit mean in the story,
Belone Perk 6 says,
main threat to life
NWS
itself
Weather Prediction
and
Center
the
College Park
actual
MD
thing,
416
killing
PM
people in the
EDT.
streets does not have an explanation.
Belone
Or
Perk
at
6
least in
says,
the story it's not explained. Here, let's check the
Ooh,
wiki.
there's rainfall.
The break is a
that?
devastating miasma in Athia that relentlessly corrupts everything it touches. Humans become hostile and mindless, animals morph into monsters, and even the land itself takes on a bizarre appearance. That does not explain anything! Am I
Patrick
losing
says,
my mind? Hold on, there's
YouTube
gotta be
chat check.
more. Wait, what? No! That's the entire wiki page! That's the explanation to the main issue in the world! This cannot get any worse. This game, it cannot get any worse! Oh, wait. Yes, it does! Because it turns out that the main villain the whole time during the entire game was, in fact, the cuff.
Don't call me Cuff.
I think I get it now.
Gus, you don't mean.
That's what the Taunters were talking about.
Oh, I want you to say it, please. Say it.
They weren't talking about me at all.
Say it. Say it.
It's you. You're the demon.
Who the fuck is the Cuff? The Cuff, it turns out, is a demon that the Taunters battled when they were good, that you were never told about during the game. Fact is that as the player, you assume the Taunters are evil due to the break, because you know, the mysterious miasma is literally explained to corrupt people, as it's like the only thing it does. So... When the Taunters become evil, it is due to the cuffs that they were all given after defeating the demon. It is clearly illustrated that everyone knew the Taunters' corruption originated from the cuffs they all had, as they are the main villain's soul split into 4 parts and distributed among the 4 cuffs. Frey makes the realization that everyone calling her a demon through the story were actually referring to the cuff she was wearing, and that an entity lived with in it, which means everyone knew about the demon and no one fucking told her. Everyone in the history of Athia knew her killing the Taunters would result in the demon becoming whole again, and no one informs Frey. This is not intentional. The writers just forgot that everyone knew and tried to pull a twist villain anyway. Now, seeing all of this, you may say to yourself that, man, that's a really bad game. It surely could not get any worse. Spoiler alert, it gets even worse! However, I promised you all a glimpse of hope at the start of this video, and I plan to deliver. What is the one thing that redeems this game in the smallest way possible? The combat. The combat in this game is fucking amazing. I mean, you know, when the game wants to run properly, Earth is your starting power and is designed from the ground up as your support class. While your attacks are adaptable for any occasion, your support spells are designed to keep you alive with turrets, traps, and even lifesteal should you be struggling with a crowd. Fire is designed from the ground up as melee, with your spells designed to lock enemies in so you can deal with them without the possibility of escape. Water is a nullifying class, designed to immobilize and group enemies up for you to hit them with large larger blows from other classes of magic. The class even allows you to obtain extra jumps on successful hits in order to maintain high ground and avoid enemies that try to close the gap. Electricity, though, is a fascinating one, as the class is designed to do no damage. Your default attacks do no damage. All they do is lock darts onto your enemies, with your other spells triggering effects upon the darts should you find an opening to do so. And what really brings all of this together is the speed of combat. If you're just walking around mindlessly and shooting enemies, you are forced to charge up your attacks before being able to release them. The only way to avoid these charge up timers is to run. The game incentivizes you to keep your combat punchy and fluent by rewarding you for keeping enemies on their toes. Whilst running, spells are fired instantly, without any form of delay. The combat in Forspoken is truly, and I mean this, I've shat on this game for the last 30 minutes probably. The combat in Forspoken is truly one of a kind, and I love it. It's just a shame that it's attached to such a fucking dog shit game. Now, I told you that I'd be talking about aspects of the game as I explain the story alongside it. You may be thinking that I failed to do so, but I didn't. You wake up in Athia, you kill the Taunters because you think it'll lead to you getting home. You mistakenly bring back the demon by killing the Taunters. You kill him after running around for, I'm not joking, 2 hours while the game tries to fill you in on all the story it hid away from you, and then the game ends. But what have I told you? It gets even worse. You kill Cuff, who was the demon the whole time. He murders and slaughters thousands after he's brought back to his original form. And after you kill him, after beating the game, you get this scene.
I'll continue to study my father's notes on reversing the break. Maybe between the two of us we'll find a way.
And now the real work begins. Damn. That is a lot of land for just one girl to cover. But it's a good thing I'm not doing it on my own. Isn't that right, Cuff?
It's fair embrace.
The game is designed from the ground up to have Cuff talk you through so much of the side content that the writers were forced to keep him alive and for you to make up with him so that it would make sense that he's still with you. They make you forgive a genocidal maniac because reasons. You were all hating Forspoken wrong this whole time. You thought this game was bad because of some fucking cringy voice lines? What, because of some optimization issues? This game is so bad that the studio that made it has been shut down. Forspoken, more like, for fuck's sake, this game is broken. If you enjoyed this video in any way, shape, or form, you are obligated to listen to this part because I have never actively plugged every piece of social media that I have on this channel before, and I'm tired of not having people over there. But before I plug anything, a big thank you to all my patrons on Patreon.
The fasting is supposed to begin, and then I just took my last sip of
for being a part of my
my boba tea.
Discord server. If you donate to the Patreon, you get an exclusive chat. That's pretty cool. Like the fucking video. God damn it. Leaving a hate comment also seems to boost the algorithm, so if you don't like me, shut the fuck up. Tell me about it in the comments. Oh, and maybe press the subscribe button. I think that does something. If you're looking for another video where I completely shit on something, there's always my Modern Warfare 2 video up on the screen right now. But if you're looking for something a little bit more positive and philosophical, be sure
I didn't need any of my Greek yogurt.
Probably my best video, so if you're looking for another juicy piece of content, that's the way to go. Oh, I almost forgot. If you're one of the 4 people that actually enjoys the algorithm teasers that I had at the end of my videos, I'm really sorry. They're not here anymore. But don't panic. There's plenty of algorithm content on the way in the form of their own videos. A trailer coming in a few months. I'll see you guys in the next one.
I'm taking a few bites.
Video games, dinosaurs, and boobies. The three things in this world that everyone has unanimously agreed are the coolest things to ever exist.
Or do
Unless
you?
Don't like video games, dinosaurs, and boobies, and in that case, did you know hitmen are hourly now? Also, turn around. Now, what if I told you there was a game so revolutionary that it combined the magic of roid lizards and fun bags into one delicious package? Where can I buy this game, you might ask? Well, build a time machine, fuckhead, because that game came out all the way back in the 90s.
I mean, not necessarily.
So old and so innovative that it inspired the level design of fucking Halo. Ladies and gents, I present to you Jurassic Park Trespasser.
You have your dinner in like another few hours with your family, right?
Referring to it as the worst game ever made, and like a dog's dinner. Hold on, is this video about a bad game? Shit, the intro music is playing. Don't click off the video or you won't see any boobies. They're real, I can prove it, you just have to wait. During development of Trespasser, the game was originally envisioned as a horror shooter, but spent so much time in development that it was forced to release unfinished. And so critics were given a glitchy, buggy mess. But what if I told you that the critics were all wrong? Trespasser wasn't a failure because it was a bad game, it was a flop because it was arguably an amazing game. A game doing so much at the same time that no computer on the planet could even run the damn thing. And I promise, if you behave, I'll explain to you how the devs managed to make tits an integral part of this game. But if you want your dessert, you've got to eat your veggies. You play as Anne, a woman whose plane has crashed on Site B and is forced to traverse the island and find a way off of it. And if you were expecting a deeper story from a game that released the same time I was still developing my penis, then you've got the brain the size of it too. Wait, hold on, that joke doesn't work.
I might wait until we eat
penis
dinner.
Was massive in the Cyberpunk video.
Good for you.
Now, in most first-person shooters, you control what your gun is pointing at when you shoot targets. Trespasser is a little different.
But do you need it?
You control the gun. You control the entire fucking arm, from the positioning of the elbow, the rotation of the wrist, and even to where the gun is pointing. Not to mention that you actively have to consider how easy it is to hold a gun. Because if you walk into a door a little too hard and you had a gun, I've got news for you, mate. No, you fucking didn't. That gun belongs to the void now. You don't get to just point and shoot an enemy.
I mean, it's easy enough to figure out. What are you guys gonna have for dinner? Calculate the potential, protein and calories of it. Well, you need a snack beforehand.
No, but I might eat anyways. I have fasted more than long enough.
Oh wait, it's your first meal of the day? If it's your first meal of the day, then okay, yeah, just have a protein snack. It's always good to ease into eating. I mean, if you have fasted at least 14 hours.
You don't miss your shots because your guns do not reload. Shooting a dinosaur and your mag is empty? Cool. You're on the breakfast menu now. Here is a clip of me just trying.
Yeah, I haven't eaten at all.
To aim a sniper rifle.
Come on. Gonna get his ass.
Go, go, go.
No, no, no! Why are you turning around?
You're only gonna have one meal a day. Gotta make it count.
That's it. Okay, don't worry.
Get some protein in you.
Oh, shit, I have an ammo.
The lock in a stacko says. Yeah, like 19 or 20 HRS LOL.
Stupid idiot. You're being a stupid idiot. You're only starting. You gotta be not a stupid idiot. You cannot push yourself. Because then you'll just feel worse and then you'll stop. If you feel horrible and you stop because you feel horrible, then you'll just fall off and never do it again.
One item and have a second item holstered. Problem is,
the lock in a stacko says.
Items take up a
not intentionally,
slot as well.
I'll be honest.
So
yeah, well then intentionally have some food in you.
I just haven't been hungry.
That's fine. Have some food in you.
Like I'm bagging on this game a little bit, but trust me, this tedious shit right here is the most fun you will ever have in a first-person
Why isn't it coloring?
Because it is such a chore to hit a raptor with even a single bullet that the second that you manage to hit a shot, you're gonna scream from excitement.
Uh-oh. This is a big boy. Dude, fuck off. Fuck off. That was a visual cue to make us shoot the car. There's no fucking way. There's no way. Fuck off. That's funny.
And if I'm being honest, the difficulty in
Even if
killing
you're not
things is
hungry,
where most of the horror for
that's
this
when you
game
really get
comes
into
from.
the
Here
food
I
is
am
just a
with
fuel
no gun
mindset.
and no means of
Not hungry?
defending myself.
Too bad. Fuel
Wow,
yourself.
I love walking. This is my favorite.
And it helps you not overeat.
Ah! That scared the shit out of me! Holy shit!
Screaming like a little girl. Now, is this game officially a horror? Well, no, not even in the slightest, but I refer to it as a horror due to how terrifying moments in this game can actually be. You give me a gun in any game and I'm not gonna miss my shots. I'll kill what's in front of me and the game will be over before it even began. But match up the stressful gun handling, the lingering fear of getting eaten, and the timing of sound effects, and this game's a fucking nightmare in all the ways that matter.
It's fine. I'm gonna make it. Oh! Come on!
The Lokinestaco says. Yeah, I'll eat some food in a minute. Gonna try to finish fixing this.
A small announcement before we
Good
continue.
luck.
If you're a patron on my Patreon before the 11th of June, you can message me a game of your choice and I'll make a short video on it as a Patreon exclusive. Games are elected by you guys and one game is chosen using the Wheel of Fortune. You'll also get early access to my videos and plenty of behind the scenes peeks at the show I've been spending the last 4 years working on. But enough about you giving me money and helping me give my life meaning. It's time to talk about gameplay. There are 3 types of segment to this game. Your combat, your puzzles, and platforming. Now, puzzles in any other game might require deductive reasoning, or at least the brain of a 5-year-old. However, Trespasser isn't your ordinary game, as even the simplest of puzzles can be circumvented in the dumbest ways possible. Here I am at this gate. I need to put in a code to this keypad so that the door will open. Now, it would seem that the code has been scratched into the side of this sign. However, none of that matters as I mistakenly walked at the gate in a weird way and, yeah. Level design! Okay, let me give you a better example. Here I am in this lovely town, and here is all the labeling for all the locked gates. Every single gate needs a key card. The only key card I have is blue as I entered the town from gate B. I want to exit the town at gate D. I find a note saying that the key to gate D is being stored in John Hammond's house, which is locked behind gate C. The only person that has access to gate C is Henry Wu, whose property is locked behind gate A. So logically, if I find the green key card, I'll have access to Henry Wu's, which will give me access to John Hammond's, which will give me access to gate D, and I beat the level. So, you go looking for the green key card in the town, and it's fucking nowhere. Not that I couldn't find it, but because it doesn't fucking exist. If you walk up to Henry Wu's gate and you push on it, it'll just fucking open. Nowhere in the rest of the game are there gates that have key card locks that are just open. Not before this level and not after it. The game just loves fucking with you. You have an entire town full of places to explore, and it turns out you have no reason to explore any of it. What does this game want from me? And that leaves us with the platforming. Platforming ends in 2 ways. You either make the jump or you have to start the level all over again. Now, I don't mean that you die every time, although that happens a lot. The problem with the platforming is that it relies on physics. Video game physics.
Marl. Hello. How are you doing today?
In this jumping puzzle, I need to get onto the roof of this white building so that I can make my way onto this shelter so that I can jump onto the cargo containers to get a key card that I need. But because this entire cabin, which I need to get on top of, is physics-based and I have the audacity to walk next to it, it's now not in line for me to make the jump in order to make another jump in order to get to the white fucking building. Great, I'm fucked. I have to restart the entire level because this fucking thing decided to have a fit. It's stupid, right? Or is it? Because I wasn't ready to give up. I refused to give up. I was not going to let this physics engine fucking get the better of me. I dragged a crate up with me and placed it on top of the cabin, hoping I'd be able to jump up onto it in order to get up onto the white building. Problem is, the crate wouldn't stay still. I tried and I failed. It was over. I needed to start the level all over again. Or did I? And then it hit me. What if I just use the cabin as a bridge and not a platform? So I jump down, I shoot the cabin, making it connect the crates and the cargo containers. I jump up onto the crates, I walk along the cabin, and I fucking made it! But just to put things into perspective, I managed to make the next jump too. But when I looked back at the metal making the jump possible, it had fallen down. If I fucked up this jump right here, all of this would have been for nothing. That shit is just fucking exciting. I used this game's engine against itself and came out on the other side. How can I be mad at that? There is a chance that nobody has experienced the game in this way before, and that's just kind of cool. The platforming itself can be extremely hit or miss, and I couldn't figure out why, but I managed to find a good explanation in an episode of Angry Video Game Nerd. Through a collaboration with Boundary Breaker, it's explained that you don't actually have legs. Instead, the bobbing of your body up and down as you walk occurs due to a cube programmed with collisions set to the ground. And that same collision on the cube is what is colliding with the crates when you're doing the platforming. The platforming sometimes doesn't work and sometimes breaks due to the positioning of this cube. And that's pretty fucking neat. You know what else is neat? Titties. Boobs even. Dare I say, breasts. And as promised, I shall bestow upon you the knowledge promised. How does Trespasser manage to make breasts a key feature of the game? You've probably noticed by now that there is no heads-up display in Trespasser, and that all the information that you need is delivered to you in different ways. You manage your own inventory by holstering. There's no need for a crosshair because you control the direction of the gun. There is no ammo count, as Anne will call out how much ammo is left after each shot. And your boobies are your health bar.
I mean, it's subtly amazing. Kind of like in Dead Space.
As you take damage, your heart tattoo will slowly fill with blood. Once it's full, it's game over. And it's actually not a texture that swaps in and out, but a cube with multiple variants of the heart that rotates to illustrate the damage that you've taken. You can even see the edging of the cube if you look close enough. As promised, I've given you gaming, dinosaurs, and boobies in a nice, neat package. But one thing I haven't explained is, why do I, the pretentious cunt that I am, think that the critics were wrong about this game? Fact is, the only reason Trespasser was poorly received is because of the poor performance of the game. This game is running sprawling biomes with a built-in physics engine, and the devs were just expecting it to run on computers from 1998. This game was ahead of its time. But today, the game runs perfectly. In 1998, Trespasser was the worst game ever made, not because the developers made a bad game, but because the world wasn't ready for it. Also, it blue screened nearly every PC it was ran on, so yeah, that's also not great. A big thank you to all of these lovely people, but an even bigger thank you to Papa Sun and Nicole for being a part of my $10 tier up on Patreon. There should be some lovely videos up on screen that I'd highly recommend that you watch, but outside of that, my name is Zendrectus, you can call me Zenny, and I'll probably see you in another video. In like 6 months, maybe. Starfield is this year's biggest release. Some people love it, some people think it doesn't live up to the hype, but one thing is for sure. Every person on this planet owns it. Aside from you, because you're smart and you don't want to part with $120 for a game that could turn out to be just as fun as making a paper shredder. So, in today's Critical View, I shall be adventuring across the stars to give you a definitive answer. Is Starfield this generation's biggest hit, or is this just another in a line of Bethesda's failings? Let's gear up and find out. Bethesda has always been good when it comes to introducing players into their worlds, allowing their openings to not only set the scene for those worlds, but also the stakes that rest within them. Skyrim and Fallout 4 are really good examples of this. Skyrim, in the span of a 3-minute cart ride, is able to fill the world with not only agency, but adds plenty of intrigue for the player to act upon. There is a war raging between the Imperials and the Stormcloaks. What's this war about? There is a disdain for the Thalmor. Who are the Thalmor? Ulfric killed and tried to usurp the High King's throne. Who was this king, and why did he deserve to die? Who is this man, and will he be my friend? Look here, no! Questions that will rattle in your head until a dragon attacks. This dragon attack will not only set up the main questline for the game, but now you are one of the few people who has survived a dragon attack. Whilst the main questline does make you a supposed chosen one, before you even know that, the player is made to feel unique. You feel important. You want to do the main questline because of how much the game has hyped it up. However, Skyrim also succeeds in not forcing the player into doing things that
who knows, you might come up with a revelation.
Not only do you get to make the small opening choice of siding with an Imperial or a Stormcloak, something that you can change your mind on later in the game, but the game also opens the world up to you and doesn't force you down the main questline. Once you escape Helgen, you can go anywhere and do anything, which is how a lot of players like to play Bethesda games. Fallout 4, I wouldn't say does this as well as Skyrim, but it does do its setting some justice through how it plans out its opening. Getting to see the suburban lifestyle before the bombs fall is a good juxtaposition on how messed up things are 200 years into the future. Don't worry, my hot wife, together we will overcome the wasteland. Hot wife, no! Much like Skyrim, you are offered intrigue through the murder of your wife and the kidnapping of your son. But once you have left the confines of the vault, the world is completely open to you. Your uniqueness in not being an irradiated mess rings true in how you interact with people of this world. The story holds importance for those who care, but for those that don't really care about that sort of thing, you have an entire world to explore. Both games offer intrigue and motivate the player into doing the main quest line should the player want to do so. By the time the world is open to them, they can go anywhere, do anything, and become whoever they would like. Remember this for later. Now, with all that being said, how does Starfield manage? Now, understand that I am discussing the opening of Starfield in a vacuum. When playing Starfield for the first time, you have no idea where the story plans to go, and I want to discuss the opening on its own, without the understanding of where the opening leads, because I do not like how Starfield opens. It is an underwhelming mess that will go on to permeate the first third of the main questline. Understand that my opinions here don't represent the entire game. That's for the rest of the video to decide. However, I need to make this clear, this is Bethesda's worst introduction to a new world, full stop, period, goodbye, the end. And speaking of the end, I am at my wit's end trying to comprehend how Bethesda thought that this was okay. So, how does everything begin? You start off as a contractor working alongside your co-workers Lynn and Hella at an Argos mining outpost. Whilst mining away, the team gets a strange reading. When you go to investigate this reading, you touch a strange rock and you begin to hallucinate the vast reaches of the Starfield. You wake up to a call from the person that contracted this group to dig up this strange reading. They are on their way to pick this material up. When informed that you touched the damn thing, Barrett, one of the members of Constellation, tells you straight-faced that you are coming with him and you don't get a choice in the matter. Even if you tell him that you don't want to, the game just tells you to get fucked.
You're coming with me to Constellation. You're part of this now.
Whoa, wait, I didn't ask for any of this.
Hey, I wasn't gonna bring it up, but we don't exactly know what the artifact might have done to your head, and Constellation is really the only group qualified to help.
Wait, did I just get well actually'd into doing the main quest line? What the fuck? Barrett lets you borrow his ship so you can bring this fancy rock you found to Constellation, a small group of adventurers seeking out these supposed artifacts. So all you have to do is bring this artifact to Constellation and then you can start your own adventure. Oh, I have to do a tutorial first. Well, that's fine. This game's ship mechanics can be pretty elaborate. That's fine. Okay, I've learned how to use the ship and now I can go to Constellation. Oh, I can't leave the system until I kill some pirates. Okay, I'll kill some pirates, and now I can go off to Constellation. Oh, I can't until I kill this captain. Well, that's okay. I'll fly down to this planet, kill the captain, and now I can go off to Constellation. Sweet, they have the artifact, and now I can start my own adventure. They want me to get another rock. Wait, I'm locked into having a companion that I do not want. Well, okay, can I leave now? No. Go to the planet and find a guy. And I can go now? No. Bribe this man for information. Okay, can I go now? No. Go fight some ships in space and grab some data from a satellite. Okay, but surely I can leave now. No. Go fight some religious space farts on a space station. Okay, but no. Go disable this ship, board it, shoot it, kill it, talk to a guy, get the artifact, travel back to the lodge, and drop off the artifact. And now, finally, you are free to be your own person in this roleplay game.
Back it off.
Constellation, more like constipation because they won't
It's
let
interesting.
me do
I don't know
the
if
shit I
it's
actually want to do. Let me be clear. The
the
opening
heat of the day,
content
just
is
deciding
good.
to press
Space combat is
down
fast,
in the
gunplay
attic.
is punchy, and the characters are interesting enough. However, when
Alright,
you
now
look at
time
your
to draw
game
the
as a space epic,
expressional
where you can go
portrait.
where you want, do as you feel, and be anyone, the last thing you should do is tell players where they cannot go, tell them what they have to do, and influence who they have to be. By the halfway point of this opening, when the galaxy is finally opening up to you, you're a member of a secret organization collecting artifacts that you do not care about, killing pirates that you may have wanted to join from the get-go, and being forced into having company that you can't tell to bugger off. Can you imagine how frustrating it would have been to play Skyrim for the first time and the game forces you down the path of the Imperials, or to play Fallout 4 and the second you leave the vault, you're forced into going to find played Skyrim on PC ever pursue the path of Dragonborn, and only a quarter of players give a rat's ass about finding their son in Fallout 4. The main quest line is there, but Bethesda has always understood that new players and returning ones love going off and exploring their worlds. They have had this down to an art form for over a decade now, so why they decided to flip the script out of nowhere is beyond me. And getting to the point where you are finally free to start exploring without Sarah hassling you and being a mandatory companion is long. The journey to free will in Skyrim is 22 minutes. Fallout 4, a nice crisp 20 minutes on the dot. Starfield, however, with its tutorials, fetch quests, and crowded battles, even when you know what you are doing and are on a second playthrough, clocks in at a whopping 1 hour and 42 minutes. That is over 5 times longer than Fallout. Am I being harsh here? 100%. I understand that this is a big universe, and honestly, as much as I don't like it, having you bounce around the universe a little before taking off the training wheels is probably the smartest thing they could have done. But there are better ways of getting around this. Hand over the artifact to Barrett. Hey, want to come with me and find out what these fancy rocks are all about? No? Okay. He leaves. Have the player already have enough credits to pinch up one of the shitty mining ships and have it need repairs. You are given a waypoint to the nearest planet that can do repairs, and boom, you have an area to explore. Offer up some quests that send you to other planets with the option of meeting up with Constellation later still on the table, and you have a banger! But Constellation is not interesting enough on its own to be worth wasting my goddamn time. Yes, the story gets good, but the fact that the game offers you nothing of intrigue outside of "I saw a few stars" is insulting. Like, buddy, you're in space! Look out the fucking window! The game offers you nothing. Go ahead, ask the members of Constellation what the artifacts are before heading off, and they won't even speculate to intrigue you.
I think for her, like, extra portrait, she could look a little happier.
That's flattering, but really.
So I just need to find a good reference.
Individually, they're just odd hunks of metal. Is there anything new showing up?
No.
Are they a weapon? No idea. Did aliens make them? It's probably best not to speculate. Is it a map to a magical treasure? The fuck do you mean? Oh, that is definitely not making it into the video. The people of Constellation do not have a reason to find these artifacts outside of the fact that they float. Buddy, my turds float, but I don't relish the opportunity to collect them like fucking Pokemon. But as frustrating as the opening is, we're here. We are finally free to explore this vast universe and start our own adventure. And speaking of adventure, I found something that I think you guys are going to want to see. You didn't think I'd talk about exploration without us going on our own adventure, did you? Let's go check it out. Starfield's universe is as vast as it is beautiful, which makes it really hard to talk about everything. So let's talk about its handcrafted content first. Before that though, please subscribe, leave a like, or perhaps comment how stupid I am to be animating segments of a video that like 400 people are going to see. Because yes, I am that stupid. As you adventure across this stunning universe, you will find yourself in shock as to how Bethesda managed to make all of its main cities so distinct, not just visually, but in the content that they hold within. Every city is rooted in its own theme, and the abundance of things to do reflects that as well. Take Aquila City for example. Its exterior reflects that of a futurized take on the Wild West. You've got saloons, ranches, and even a sheriff. It's great, but it's only once you dive right in that you can appreciate Aquila for what it is. Take the side quest for example. One of the first quests you'll stumble upon is you stopping a gang of bank robbers. Pull off this quest with no casualties and the game will put you on the road to being deputized. Or you could walk down an alley and you'll hear people raving on about some guy named Henry and his in-town brewed beer. But if you go off to investigate, you'll find yourself going down a rabbit hole of betrayal. Henry owns a wheat farm alongside his business partner. This partner doesn't like how Henry's been wasting a lot of his time and a portion of their wheat yield for his craft beer. They offer to pay you off to go ruin the next batch of beer. But if you feel bad for Henry and you don't want to ruin his dream, you can just increase the sugar and alcohol contents. No, really, if you go to the small local tavern buying Henry's beer, when people drink the new batch, they love it. So much in fact that they will order so much of this beer that Henry's dream of being a beer manufacturer is ultimately fulfilled. The game doesn't even reward you for this, you just straight up fail the original mission. The reward is knowing that not only did you do right by Henry, a man that you did not even have to meet in order to do this quest, but that the city of Aquila has slightly changed due to your actions. That's so cool! If I was to talk about all of Starfield's main locations, we would be here all day, and this video, as you can tell, is already very, very long. So I would like to focus on one of its locations, and that would be Neon. Neon encapsulates everything that I love about Starfield. Locations are very self-contained. You'll get quests in one location that will lead you to another, but for the most part, quests will feature one city and one city alone, because those quests are so integral to the cities they originate from. And by the time you've completed everything that Neon has to offer, Neon no longer feels like a city, but a character. Neon is a self-contained criminal hub area, where other locations' evils spread across the galaxy. What makes Neon so vile is always self-contained within the city, because it's designed that way by those at the very top. And it all starts with Aurora. Aurora is an illegal substance in Starfield, and the only place where you can legally buy it and use it is within the city of Neon. It's an addictive hallucinogenic derived from the fish native on the planet. Whilst Aurora can be used anywhere in Neon, you can only legally buy it from the Astral Lounge. Security is under strict instructions to not allow Aurora into the city by other illegal manufacturers coming from off-world, but also insists that it does not leave the planet as well. This is insisted by security under the guidance of Captain Benjamin Bayou. But things get a lot more sinister from here. Security is very strict against those who are addicted to Aurora but cannot afford to obtain more, with security trained to make these people disappear. All attempts to become sober and get off of Aurora are brought to a complete halt as well, as a man named the Administrator has been sending away ships bringing in medical supplies to the planet with the threats of violence. The Administrator will also turn out to be the man that owns the Astral Lounge, the man behind the sale of Aurora. So you go to confront him and...
My time is far more valuable than you can possibly imagine.
Captain Bayu! That's right, not only does Bayu run security and the Astral Lounge, but is also the CEO of the fishing company that made the city of Neon, the people manufacturing Aurora. Not only is this man making an illegal substance, cornering the market on Neon, being the only one allowed to sell it, but has also an elite force of soldiers that will kill all who try to sell the substance on the streets. And for those trying to get off the damn stuff, his security will send away supplies as they run the docks. Bayu has managed to create a city from the ground up, designed to get you addicted to an illegal substance that he manufactures and to game end you when you can't afford it anymore. And his villainy doesn't end with the trade of Aurora. Neon has a bustling market district within the city, with many interesting faces flooding those storefronts. My favorite though has to be Frank Rennick and his trusty robot Styx. Throughout Starfield, it is made very, very clear that robots are not sentient. They do not have feelings, and everything is a simple calculation of mathematics. Until you meet Frank, and he talks to you about how Styx is different. He talks like a person, he feels things, and is Frank's closest friend. Naturally, this is a surprise to you, so you take him at his word, and you offer to mess up a few fellas that attacked and painted all over Styx, only for you to exit dialogue and realize that
sometimes, Styx, I wonder how things would have been different if I took a different path. If I flipped the coin of life and it came out heads instead of tails.
I'm sorry. I did not understand your query. Please rephrase.
Yeah, you got a point. I would have screwed it up either way.
Oh, this man's just insane. The game is designed that through your interactions with one of the vendors, you are offered quests that will slowly lead you to interacting with all of the other vendors. It's actually quite clever. Take Saburo, for example. His business has been doing very poorly because he's an idiot and opened up a mining company on a planet 100% covered in oceans. He is desperate to get business booming and asks you to see if you can talk to at least 5 of the 8 vendors into agreeing to a mutual ad brochure. The reason I'm rambling about these vendors is because Administrator Bayu has been taxing every one of these businesses 40% of all the income that they get. Again, every struggle you find on Neon either starts or is a consequence of Bayu's grip on the city. And Bayu's security is so vile that if you complete the Strikers questline, a questline that entails you joining a gang and fighting a gang war, Bayu will be so upset that you ended a gang war through the death of the Disciples, a now defeated gang, that he will recruit the Strikers into his security force so that they can conduct missions inciting more violence within the city that will result in more gangs taking root. Because it turns out getting robbed blind by gangs tends to drive the citizens of Neon to, you guessed it, the purchase of Aurora. And with real estate being so cheap on Neon because of the gangs, even if those civilians die, there will always be someone looking for a fresh start and will move to Neon. But by far, the best interaction you can have in Neon, and in my opinion, is the best written starter in the entire game, can be found in Neon's Epside district. You walk up to an elderly woman and you try to talk to her, only for her to apologize as they are closed and she is just too emotional to talk right now. No matter how hard you try, she will insist that you go away and come back at a different time. And the game means this. You have to wait 24 hours of in-game time before she will even consider telling you what's on her mind. Like, can we please pause for a second here and think about how amazing that is? It is really hard to get a player's intrigue when every character just tells you that, I'm sad, can you do a fetch quest for me? It's what you would typically expect from a game like Starfield, but Starfield goes the extra mile and doesn't tell you how sad a character is. It makes you feel it. The game forces you to ponder on why a character that so obviously has a quest for you would turn you away. I assumed that I would come back in 24 hours and she would be dead and there would be a murder mystery. The game is sending us away so that the shock factor hits us much harder on our return. But no, if you come back 24 hours later and she has had time to cool down, now if you ask her the same thing that you did yesterday, she is willing to open up to you. This character values your patience and now sees you as a person worth confiding in. Keep in mind that I haven't even told you what's got her upset, and I know with 100% certainty that you are dying to know. And you know what? It will turn out to be a murder mystery. Someone murdered her husband and security refuses to look into it. And what's heartbreaking is that the only reason you were even able to interact with her is because her husband is gone. Her store shutters were meant to be closed when you first met her. She even tells you this.
Hello. I'm sorry if I sound rude, but would you mind coming back later? We're actually closed right now. I just forget to pull down the shutters.
the only reason that the shutters were still open and you were able to talk to her was because her husband at closing time would be the one to typically close the shutters. She forgot that he wasn't with her anymore, and that's why she choked up and requested that you leave. And that is just such amazing writing for a character that we have had a grand total of 2 minutes of interaction time. This is the sort of thing that you can expect with Starfield and its handcrafted content. Cities have themes, and their quests enforce those themes home with a vengeance. Aquila is a western town that makes you feel like a gun-toting sheriff or a champion of the little guy. And Neon floods your mind with depictions of manipulation and presents you with an endless cycle of a governing entity running his city like his own personal wallet. And I love it. Anyway, on to our next segment, titled, Why the Rest of Starfield's Exploration is Complete Dog Shit. Okay, that's not fair. Whilst adventuring through the stars, you will bump into some really fascinating interactions. I, for one, found a ship. One of the crewmates, as a joke, changed everyone's names within the ship's computer systems to be dumb nicknames. This ship belongs to a team of spaces that try out experimental products. One crewmate will set up turrets throughout the ship and connect them to that ship. He wants to kill everyone and steal these products in order to sell them on the black market. Once they've lifted off, he tells the computer system to kill all the crewmates, excluding him by name. However, his name has been changed in the system to a nickname, and the turrets end up killing him along with the rest of the crew. It's tragic, but man, that's just fucking funny. There's a cute little grandma you can bump into and she'll offer you tons of food. There are space pirates and bounty hunters that will just attack you at a moment's notice, and you've even got this little shit.
Do you know the way to Uranus? I sure hope so. It's right behind you.
Okay, and before you all scream at me, yes, there are these fuckers.
Thanks for responding to my hail. We've been trying to contact you about your ship's extended warranty.
Are you happy now? Cool! Here's why Starfield's exploration is complete and utter dog shit. Excluding cities, they're kind of cool. Starfield's exploration is some of the most embarrassing shit I've ever seen. However, I'd like to defend Starfield a little bit before going on. What we are about to talk about is completely optional content. Even outside of planetary exploration, there are hundreds of hours worth of content on the settled systems. Settled being planets with either cities or star systems with satellite battle stations. Everything outside of that is a bonus, and we should be grateful that they tried. But the word tried is doing some serious fucking legwork, because exploring planets in this game sucks balls. You land on a planet and there is just nothing. 9 times out of 10 you'll land on a planet with one biome, a maximum of 2 recycled alien species, and the same 3 encounters over and over again. Abandoned laboratories, abandoned factories, or a research outpost, with the likelihood of there being pirates stalking the halls being as high as the building I'm going to jump off if I have to explore one more of these planets. In the space of 4 hours, I traveled to 3 planets. I found a cool desert grasslands planet. 900 meters from my ship, there was an abandoned outpost, so I walked there. I encountered a goofy dead guy with this like glitching backpack, and
I don't know if I should go for a walk. I don't know.
I went on to kill
I don't know if I should go for a
that was
walk.
fun, only for me to travel to one planet over and
Don't let
experience the
THRE
exact
take you.
same abandoned
Scrolling away,
outpost. No, not just a similar outpost, literally copied and pasted all the way down to the glitching out backpack. You can see me
Go
in
on a
this
walk,
footage,
definitely.
realize that this is the same backpack, and I rush
I have,
inside to see if the same body is there. And
I have 15 minutes to
I
say.
keep exploring, and 1 hour later, on a different planet, again, yep, you guessed it, I found the exact same outpost once more. But credit's where it's due, guys. At least the backpack wasn't glitching out now, you know, where credit is due. Am I saying due? Is it due or due? I'm saying it like weird. I don't know. Planetary exploration is a simple resource grind, and while I'm not overly impressed, it's a way to grind out levels
walks are
and
almost
gather
always
tons
a
of
good idea.
resources in order to make the parts of the game you actually care about
And aren't they a good
I
idea?
also find it interesting that Bethesda in a tweet insisted you should go explore random planets because who knows what you might find out there, and posts a cool underground mining location. But hey, Bethesda, Master, that location is from the Freestar Ranger questline, not some random
The
planet.
Lockinestaco says,
Someone points this out
I mean,
in
if
the
there is a
replies.
tornado.
You aren't fooling anyone. Planetary
Like a
exploration
thunderstorm or
is a
something.
huge load of empty, and where you do find something to do, you'll find yourself doing the same shit in the same empty nothingness of a planet on repeat until you realize where the real fun is, the cities. But overall, the exploration in Starfield is sensational. Cities are full of life, and where the planets let you down, these beautiful locations won't. But exploration is not the only thing you'll be getting up to in Starfield. Now, exploration on its own can be very fun, but what's adventuring worth without a little bit of combat? Okay, look, combat is combat. We love shooting and hitting things, whether that be on the ground, in the air, or in outer space. There are only so many things that I can praise when it comes to gunplay in a first-person shooter, so I'll say this. The shooting feels good, and the space combat feels better. It's clear that the developers put their heart and soul into making this the best combat that they've ever developed. What does piss me off is the overinflated process of being able to conduct combat in your own way. I've got two things to complain about, okay? Number one, weapon modding. Weapon modding is elaborate, and if it was as simple as investing a skill point into a skill tree, I'd be totally happy. That's what they did in Fallout 4, and I loved it. But Starfield has managed to take the joys of upgrading your weapons and flushed it down the toilet. Let's say that I'm a fresh character. I want to give my weapon a specific grip. I need to level up at least 6 times before I can put a skill point into weapon modding. Then I have to go to the nearest research station, collect the random items from all the vendors in order to research the grip. Then I have to go back to the vendors to buy the elements and materials I need to be able to make the grip. Then I can finally attach the grip to my gun. Wait, no I can't, because it's a level 2 grip, and I researched level 1 grips. That's okay, I'll research level 2 grips, go get the resources, research level 2 grips, and sorry, you can't make that grip as you only have 1 point in gun modding. Well, that's okay, I've got a spare skill point, I'll just throw it into gun modding, and no, you're not doing that. You need to make at least 5 weapon mods before you can put another point into this skill tree. Think about that. You need to level up enough in order to enable gun modding so you can mod up guns that you don't care about in order to level up gun modding to level 2 so you